All right, students, so today we are going to make a basic muffin recipe. And this is something that you can use for all kinds of muffins. So if you choose to put chocolate chips in it, or coconut, or almond extract, or any of those other things to enhance the flavor, you can. So there's a recipe at the front of the classroom. You can go ahead and pick those up right now. So go ahead and pick those up.
Sugar one?
Not on this one, but you can definitely add it.
Yes! You got slapped in the head.
So,
we're just making regular muffins. We're not making anything.
not today, and not tomorrow either. But if you want to go home and add other things into these, if you want to make them on your own time, you can get 10 points of extra credit as opposed to 5. So the normal extra credit home cooking form is worth 5, but tomorrow, or if you cook them at home, it will be worth 10. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my oven preheating to 375 degrees, and I've already lined my muffin pan with my cupcake liners. The thing with these is that I have preferred to use cupcake liners instead of spraying my pan because I feel like it just makes the baking process go easier. It's easier to take them out of the pan than it is with dousing it with baking spray. That's my personal preference. If you prefer something else, that's okay, but for lab tomorrow, we'll just use these baking cups. The other thing is that some of you might be familiar with these silicone muffin pans. Have you ever used these before?
No.
Anyone? The really nice thing about these is that they are non-stick, so you can pop out your ovens really easily with these, and you can manipulate them to get out those muffins. So it's going to come out really, really easy from these. The bad thing about them is that because they are made out of silicone and not metal, the heat doesn't evenly transfer through the pan. So it makes it so that your muffins kind of become lumpy. Like one side of them is a little bit higher than the other, and it makes it so they just don't cook evenly. So there are pros and cons. But the nice thing about our metal is that metal is a conductor of heat, so it's going to transfer that heat evenly across all of the muffins and make sure they all have a uniform dome shape. So we'll go ahead and get started. So here I have my flour in a small bowl, and I'm going to combine my baking powder and salt into that bowl. The baking powder is our leavening agent. It's a mixture of baking soda, cornstarch, and sodium bicarbonate. So it's going to help our muffins to rise in our lab tomorrow. So once you've combined these 3 ingredients, you can set this aside. We don't need it right now. Then we're going to put our sugar into our large mixing bowl and melt our butter. I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And then we'll get started on making our muffins. So just like we saw in the video yesterday, we are not going to use an electric mixer because that causes over mixing with our muffins. I'm just going to use a large mixing bowl and a flexible spatula. Okay. So my butter is all melted. So I'll go ahead and add this into our sugar. So we'll go ahead and mix this up. It'll create this nice little paste. Okay, and then after this, we are going to add in our liquid ingredients. So let me grab my other liquid ingredients. I've already mixed my milk and vanilla together, so vanilla is in this liquid measuring cup. But I also have my egg that I'm going to break into this small glass bowl, and then I'm going to whisk it up with a fork. The goal here is to make it so that the yolk and the egg white are completely combined. They are one liquid mixture together. So you can see in this now that they are the same. There's not a difference between the egg yolk and the egg white. So we'll go ahead and dump that whole egg in here along with our milk and our vanilla. And we'll just mix this up to evenly distribute all of these ingredients. So we've mixed up all of our liquid ingredients together. And next we are going to add in our dry ingredients. So we'll go ahead and combine those. So if you remember from yesterday, the chef that we watched on the YouTube video was saying how our batter is still going to have a little bit of clumps, and that's okay. The main point is to incorporate all of those ingredients together so that you don't have these pockets of dry ingredients. So mix it together as best you can. And make sure to scrape your bowl to get all of those ingredients incorporated. At this point, this is when you would add in chocolate chips, shredded coconut, any of the extracts, or if you even wanted to add in chopped nuts or mashed banana, this is when you would add that in. So we're not going to do that in our lab, but again, if you want to cook at home and add in your own toppings, it's worth 10 points of extra credit. So I'm going to change my gloves because I had raw egg on them. And I've decided to get some new gloves so that we can fill our cupcake liners. I'm just going to use 2 spoons and put them into these muffin cups. If you choose to add toppings, it's going to make it so that your batter distributes into more than just these 6 cups. So if you choose to add in chocolate chips, it's going to be better for you to use a 12-cup muffin tin than the 6 one, because it'll stretch a little bit farther. So let me grab a couple of spoons and we will go ahead and dish these out. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put the dirty dishes away. So I found last class period that if we do 3 spoonfuls, that should be enough for 1 muffin cup.
Big spill.
What was that?
Huh?
Oh, I just didn't hear what you said. And it's okay to make a mess as long as you clean it up. That's my philosophy.
And you're spilling a lot.
I am. I'm working fast. And then you're going to have this leftover batter. So go ahead and distribute it evenly between the other baking cups. So about another like half spoonful for each one. All right, so then we'll go ahead and put these into the oven. I found last class period that they're going to cook longer than you think they will. So it says 12 to 18 minutes on your recipe. I found from last class period that it was closer to 18 minutes. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the finished product from last class period. And make sure to set a timer. If you don't set a timer, you're going to forget. No matter how good your memory is, you're always going to second guess yourself. So always set a timer either on your phone or on the microwave. So let's go ahead and dissect our muffins from last class period. This will be kind of interesting. So if we grab, first I'll clean up my mess. So if we go ahead and grab one of the muffins from last class period, let's see how we know that they're done. How do you test to see if muffins or cupcakes are done?
Toothpick.
Yeah, with a toothpick. What's another way you can do a test? So if we pull our muffins, I just want to call these cupcakes. If we pull our muffins from last class period, I'll put them here so that they can see them at home. One thing that you can do is, yes, you can take a toothpick and you can just insert it into the very center of the muffin. And if it pulls out and it doesn't have any batter on it, you're good. A few little crumbs is okay, but if it's batter, it's not done all the way. So that's the first way that you can check. The other way is by lightly pressing in the center of your muffin. So I don't know how well you can see this, but if I press down, it springs back up. Can you see that at all? So if you press down, it's going to spring back up. So that's one way that you can test. I'll grab a fork. And we'll get these out. So if we look at our muffin, we can go ahead and open this. And I'm just going to cut it right down the middle so we can see if we have any tunneling. And as you can see, it does not. Okay? Can you see that in the mirror? So we don't have tunneling. If we had over mixed it, there would be these huge air pockets on the inside that would show that we had over mixed it. So that's why we don't use an electric mixer, is because it's going to incorporate too much air, and then you'll have these big dramatic air pockets. Okay. So we'll go ahead and let these cook. I will turn off the demonstration video, and then I want you to get into your kitchens to figure out who's going to be head chef tomorrow. It's the same kitchens as you had last week. So go ahead and do that now.